Hey guys, it's Ashley Yvette. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and hit that button. We are trying to get those subscribers up. And if you have looked at the title of this video today, you know that we are doing a story time talking about domestic violence. This is a very touchy subject, you know, but it's something that happens to a lot of different people. And I'm going to talk about my experience with domestic violence. Luckily, I have been blessed to not come across that. And, you know, I haven't had any type of relationship where a guy tried to put his hands on me or that we physically fought each other. I'm so blessed that that hasn't happened to me, but I have seen it happen firsthand. So I just want to give you guys my input on it and tell you about what happened. This was my first semester of college. And I don't even know, should I say my school? I went to the University of West Georgia. So this was my first semester at college, and I had a friend who had his own apartment, and it was a really big group of us. It was like 6 girls and like 7, 8 guys, and we always used to hang together. We would go to his apartment after leaving the cafeteria because the cafeteria closed at 7. So we would all meet up at the cafeteria, and we would want to keep hanging out afterwards. So we would just go to his off-campus apartment. So we would go there and hang out, play cards. I would be on the computer a lot at that time. That's when YouTube first started popping. This is like 2006, 2007-ish. So just kind of give you the mind frame of what the time was. I'm also kind of telling my age, but whatever. So yeah, this was around that time, and we just used to all hang together. We used to call ourselves the fam. Yes, the DAFAM. Yeah. We were young. I'm 18 years old at this time, like I said, first semester of college, and there were 2 people in our group who dated each other, a guy and a girl. Let's call the guy Brian, let's call the girl Arian. So the 2 of them dated. They were the couple of our clique, and everybody knew it. That's just what it was, you know. They both had dorms on campus, but they would stay together at the guy's house. We're gonna call the guy Steven. So Steven had his own apartment, and Steven and Brian were best friends from high school or even middle school. They just grew up together. So Brian and Arian would always be at his apartment. They had like an extra room there, and they would just, you know, live together or whatever. I probably had been knowing them maybe a couple of months. You know how it is when you meet people in college and you click with them, you instantly become like family, especially your freshman year, because you're away from home, you're away from your family, you're away from your siblings. So these people that you meet in college, your friends, they end up becoming your family. So that's pretty much how it was, and I'm still really close to 3 of those girls. We are literally still sisters to this day. One of them is getting married, and all of us are bridesmaids. So that's how close we are, and this is like 10, 11 years ago when this happened. We used to always play cards, and at this time I was sitting at the table. Brian is right here, Arian is right here, and then there's another guy sitting across from me. We're all playing cards, playing spades, you know, doing what we do, doing what college students do, you know, having some drinks and just really chilling out, having fun. People watching TV, some people are in the room on a computer just talking, cooking, whatever. This is just what we did. So I guess they were having some sort of disagreement. Didn't really know what it was about, but they were having some issues. Arian proceeded to sit there, mind you, while we're trying to have a game of spades, and she basically starts coming at Brian, calling him a bitch, a pussy ass nigga. You know, these are just things that are insulting to say, but especially when you call a man like certain things and call him out of his name, that can just really turn into a whole bunch of whatever. So I'm just sitting here like, she's saying stuff, I'm looking back at him. She's saying stuff, I'm looking back at him, because I'm just like, what the hell happened? You know what I'm saying? I kind of want to get the background story so I can, you know if I need to be on her side or his side, just being nosy or whatever. And the guy that was sitting across from me too, he wasn't as interested in what was going on between them as I was. And we're gonna talk about that later, because all of the guys were kind of not that interested or paying attention to them as if this is something that just goes on. I've never seen anything like this, okay? I was sheltered when I was in high school. I ain't do nothing. I was considered a lame. So I didn't really see stuff like this happen. So she's saying all this stuff to him, just like going at him. He just sitting there like, okay, so I'm just thinking, all right. He just like, he not even paying attention to what she's saying. I'm just ready for her to stop so that me and her can go into the room and she can just give me the tea on what's really going on and why she's mad at him. That's really what I'm just waiting for. She's talking to him and he's just giving her looks back and forth. He was looking like he was giving her nonverbal cues, basically. Just looking at her. Like, you could tell he was pissed though. Like, you could tell he was mad. But I thought he was just gonna like, let it roll off his shoulder or whatever. He wasn't saying anything back to her. And she was just saying all this stuff like, yeah, you a bitch. Yeah, you a bitch. Yeah, Brian, you a bitch. Let everybody know that you a bitch, Brian. Let everybody know that you a bitch. You a pussy. All of these things that you should just not be saying in general. But again, certain words, when you say it to a man, they get all up in arms. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just reach across the damn table. He just lunges at her and like grabs her neck like this. He had like a little grip on that. He had a little grip right here, then it kind of let go. And at the time I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't wait, because I've never seen anything like that in my life. I've never seen any type of domestic violence in my life. And I just could not believe that he really put his hands on her. And then I couldn't believe that he put his hands on her in front of everybody. I think that's what I was really thinking in my head. Like, I know shit like this goes on in people's relationships, right? But most of the time it happens behind closed doors, or that's what I thought from watching, Lifetime movies and stuff like that. He really just put his hands on her in front of everybody, and that just boggled my mind. So me and the 4 other girls, we're just like all up in arms. I can't believe Brian put his hands on Arian and blah, 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 like just going off, and she's crying. We're trying to console her, and she's just like, I'm so upset. I can't believe he did this. And just going on and on and on, just really having a meltdown. And we're just mad. And like, some of us stayed in the room with her, and I know me and like a couple of other girls of my friends, we went out, and I guess they took him outside, and we're talking to our homeboys like, y'all really just not gonna do nothing? Because they didn't like try to stop him. They didn't, I'm thinking, I always thought in a situation like that, like when a man puts his hands on a woman, all the real men should be trying to get him together, like trying to fight him or pull him apart or something like that, get on him for what he was doing. But none of them were doing that. And I just remember being so upset about that, me and my friends, so upset about that. So of course, that kind of ruined the whole vibe of everything. And we all go back to our dorms. There are 4 of us that are still close to this day. And me and one of the girls were roommates, and the other 2 girls were roommates. So we were all in the car together at first. Our homeboy was taking us back to our dorms, to campus, and we were just talking about it or whatever. So he drops them off, and then he drops me and my roommate off, and we're talking about it in our dorm room. Like, I can't believe that happened. Like, that just didn't make no sense, and I don't understand why none of the guys jumped in. Like, wow, so dang, like, we thinking they have our back, like, they are homies and whatnot, and they just didn't even jump in for her. I didn't understand that. They should have been on his ass. That's just how I feel. And none of them were doing that. Before we left, she was saying all this stuff about how she's done with him. She's not doing this anymore. Blase, blase. And I can't remember if at that time, we got some idea that this was not the first time that this has happened. She was basically talking to us like she was at her breaking point and she was going to break up with him, and we're just so mad at him. We're so mad at our homeboys, all of this. We get to campus the next day, and we out there, me and my roommate, and we see her, Arian, and Brian together, just like nothing happened, just all lovey-dovey, just all up on each other. And I'm just thinking in my head, so this man just put his hands on you yesterday. You were crying, talking about how you were done. This wasn't the first time that this happened, and now y'all are back together. We met up with some of our homeboys, me, my roommate, and the other 2 girls. They told us, see, this is why we didn't jump in, because this happens all the time. They're always going to get back together. First of all, this is definitely a toxic relationship. Everybody can see this. Second of all, I'm thinking, let's look at this from both sides. one, he shouldn't have put his hands on her, and two, she shouldn't have been antagonizing him. I think that was the first time that I understood that it really takes two in these situations. What I saw on TV growing up about domestic violence, every situation is not like that. Some situations are where people are really just fighting each other, people are antagonizing each other, people are putting each other, you know, in a position to where they will strike at you. I feel like Arian definitely knew what his buttons were, and she chose to press them in front of everybody. And as I got to know her more, I knew that she kind of likes that type of thing as far as getting attention. It takes two. I really feel that way. So after that, it was just kind of like, okay. Because if he's putting his hands on you in front of everybody, and you're doing all of this, and then you were antagonizing him. You were antagonizing him, and then you cry and you say you're gonna leave, and then you don't. What can I do? What can I do? And I know that may sound harsh, but I understood why my homeboys were just standing there, because it's like, they do this all the time. I'm not getting in their business. If this is what they want to do, this is how they want to live their lives, there's nothing I can do about it. And there was nothing you can do about it. Like, and you know, you think like, oh, well, you know, you guys probably should have went to someone and said something. It's like, yeah, but then at the same time, like, if she doesn't want to step up to the plate and say, hey, this is not right, then I can't feel like it's my place to do that. And then also the severity of what they were doing, it wasn't to the point where I feel like her life was in danger at all. Like, never. I feel like they just like to fight with each other, and that's just what they do. And some people have relationships like that. There was another instance where he did put his hands on her again. No, this was like right after spring break, because I remember, because I had went home and got my hair did. We ended up having like a water fight or whatever. So we're throwing stuff at each other. I got egged on my hair. I was so mad about that. But anyways, but we had like a good time. We were just like all playing around, running around campus, running to my homeboy's off-campus apartment, just, you know, fooling with each other. Arian had a car. So we were trying to get away from the guys, and we got in the car, and we literally were driving across campus. We went on like the front lawn of like some official campus buildings. I thank God to this day that nobody saw us, because we would have all been expelled. Every single one of us would have been expelled. But it was a good time, you know, just young, dumb, and having fun. We ended up like on this road or something, and the guys were like following us in another car, and then they tried to get out the car to try to block us. So then India just kept driving, and she ended up hitting another guy that was in our group. She hit him. She hit like his leg. She didn't break it, but it was bruised. He was limping for like a week or so. Her boyfriend Brian just started going crazy. Like, once she hit him, like, she stopped the car, and then you could see Brian like running up to the car, like going crazy, like, get the out, get the fuck out, what the fuck you doing, I can't believe you just hit him, oh my god, like all this stuff, just going crazy. And I just remember being like, what the hell? And at this time, one of our homeboys did hold him back, and I think that's just because like we were on some road on campus, and we weren't trying to make as much ruckus as we had already been making, and he was trying to get him in the car. But he was like going freaking crazy. At that point, we realized, all right, the food fight is over, like we kind of crossed the lines. And then our homeboy Steven was mad because like we threw some stuff on his wall, like it was bad, and we had to go back to the apartment to clean up. We all head back to the apartment to clean up and everything, and we got there before the guys got there. Once they got there, Brian's like, Arian, let me talk to you. We watching, because we already know like what's about to happen, and them two is crazy. So she's walking down the hallway towards the front door, and then he kind of like pushes her, and when he pushes her, she like falls up against the wall. And what I will say is, she was extra with how she fell up against the wall, and he was like, I ain't even push you that hard. But I'm still thinking in my head, like, this shit is so dysfunctional. Like, this doesn't even make any sense. And now, when I really do look back at it, I think the person that I am now, if I was that person, then I would have just told her straight up, like, what are you doing? Why are you with him? So you just gonna let him hit on you? Y'all just gonna get in fights, and you're gonna post stuff on Facebook about it, and all, like, what are you doing? I would have told her, like, you're dumb. You're dumb. Like, don't come to me crying about anything, because obviously you like this, or you think this is acceptable. But if you want better for your life, then you need to leave. You know? So as I got to know this girl, she turned out to really not be a good person at all. So I'm not saying that she deserved it. I'm just saying that her and him, they should have never been together, because neither one of them are good people, and those type of people create toxic relationships. She loved attention, so I think that's why she kind of liked it. Like, and that's sick to say, but some people really do like that type of stuff, whether it's verbal, emotional abuse, whether you with a guy that don't want to commit to you when he always dogging you out. You kind of like it because you get to go to your friends all the time and talk about how he's doing you and this and that, and you the center of attention. I have a friend like that right now that does that. Just keeping it real. And some people just like that, and they think that that's love. They really do. And it's sad to say, after they ended up breaking up, he got with a new girlfriend, and this girlfriend used to fight him back, and they used to just be fighting. So I guess that's better. All of it is just a hot mess, but he really does have an issue with hitting women, and it's sad to say, you know. It's crazy because he has a daughter. He had a daughter when our freshman year. He had a daughter like his last year of high school. And it's crazy that you have a daughter, but you're putting your hands on other women. You would think that you would be mindful of that, because you wouldn't want your daughter to end up in the same situation. You wouldn't want your daughter to be with a man like you. So why won't you become the type of man that you would want your daughter to be with? You know, my advice for women in these type of situations, as far as being someone like Arian, you have to know your worth. You have to know your worth, and that's just, it's not cute. It's not cute. You have to know your worth. You have to be confident in yourself, and you have to value who you are. I'm glad that I saw that, because it taught me at an early age, you know, being 18, being young. I really hadn't had a lot of boyfriends at that time. I wasn't really, you know, well versed in dating as far as that goes, but I'm really happy that I never ended up in a situation like that. I've had heated arguments with boyfriends, and even when I got in their face, I knew, like, you should not have done that, Ashley. You should not have gotten in their face, because you can only push someone so far before they strike back. That's just how it works. You can only push someone so far before they strike back. And that goes for men, and that goes for women. And it takes two to tango in a lot of these situations. It really, really does. I say all that to say, you know, that's my experience with domestic violence. I've seen it firsthand, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I would never forget that moment that I saw him lunge at her. And I also will never forget the moment where I saw them back together again. So everybody, you know, just keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. Don't say things that you don't mean. Don't make permanent decisions off of a temporary emotion. Be wise and think first before you act and before you speak. I have plenty of other story time to tell, because my first few years, actually all my years of college, were pretty crazy. So I'm gonna, you know, come and make more of these videos, because it is good to kind of reminisce and just think about how crazy and stupid some of the stuff that we did was. Like, I just can't. I actually went to Atlanta like 2 weeks ago, because as I mentioned, one of the girls is getting married, and we were just reminiscing about stuff, and I'm just like, wow, I really need to make some videos about this on YouTube. So please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, guys, stay fly.